Good morning. I am back with another Barkley Marathons 2022 update. My last one was around 13 hours and 20 minutes into the race, and a lot has happened. So we are going to be catching up on that. Excuse me. And we are going to go through some of the updates, catch you guys up on what is happening, and the carnage that was Loop 2 this year. It was quite the night to catch you back up by the time that we left. Let's see. Here we go. We got Keith Dunn's tweets, which is the definitive source for information. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Where some people are saying no sound in the chat. Turn up the volume a tad on the mic. Hello. How are we doing now? Better? Okay. So we are going to be updating you all on what is happening with the Barkley Marathons here in 2022. We are 28:48 into the race this year, and we last checked in at 13:20, which was the close of Loop 1, and now we are well into Loop 2. So where are we at? What happened overnight? So first off, we're looking at Keith Dunn's tweets from 15 hours ago. When we were seeing rain, they were not yet seeing rain. So frozen head weather is completely unpredictable is what Keith is saying. And they had 30 runners begin Loop 2, which is a Barkley Marathons record, which is crazy. That is so many people. So I think hopes were high. As we scroll up, the rain is really coming down now. The runners will be miserable is like the next fifth tweet there into it. So, and then it started happening. So they had some very heavy rains, very cold temperatures, fog in and out apparently all night. And we started seeing these tweets coming in. So Jody Eisener, who this is his fifth attempt, Remy, who's his fifth attempt, and Michael Brower all quit at various points on Loop 2 and were tapped out. We also had Katie Wright come back in and drop out on Loop 2. She was tapped out. Next up, we still had some people that were out on Loop 1 over the cutoff. So Joshua Wiley and Marina Colassa finished Loop 1. So they did get the loop done, of course, over the time limit, and they could not continue. And then we got this news. So overnight carnage, Courtney DeWalter and Harvey Lewis, who I think all of us had high hopes for, they dropped out at mile 29.5 approximately, which would be about halfway around the loop, which is one of the most difficult places to drop because you know you have a long road back to camp in the cold. And at that point, there were only 13 runners left on Loop 2, none left on Loop 1. That was 10 hours ago. And we had this report that weather conditions on the upper part of the course, freezing rain, high winds, fog, no fog on the lower elevations, which is pretty typical. It's really just up on the high parts, but that is, you always have to go back up high, right? One after another, after another, after another. You're just going up and down constantly, so you're always going back up into the fog where some of the critical navigation happens. So, yeah, very interesting. Let's see here. All right. This is the first time Loop 1 cleared in under 24 hours. This year it was 16.5 hours. I don't know exactly what that means. Does that mean that all runners were off course by Loop 1? This is the first time Loop 1 cleared in under 24 hours. This year it was 16.5. I think that means that all runners were in under 16.5 hours. All right, let's keep it going here. Here is a picture of Courtney being tapped out and Harvey Lewis. So Let's see. They looks like they, because of the rain, they put up their pop-up and also umbrella over the official timekeeping book. And you can see Courtney over here, pretty bundled up, I would say, overall. You can see she's wearing the S-Lab 3 Ultra shoes. She's got her headlamp. And then Harvey, I thought this was interesting. So here's Harvey. Look at this outfit. So he's still wearing shorts, which I would question. I would think that you would want full-length tights heading into the night. This is like moments after I think he was tapped out. And he's wearing this sort of poncho thing, which I don't know how effective that would be personally. I would prefer just an extremely good waterproof rain jacket over like this poncho situation. I think that could get in your way, harder to get to your pack, etc. So maybe there's something to look at there. And we'll keep going up here. We got, okay, here's some glimmers of hope. John Kelly and Carl Saab finished loop 2 essentially together, 19:34:01 and 19:34:11. And it looks like Carl, when did John start loop 3? Well, it says Carl began loop 3 in 20 hours, so he had about a 26-minute turnaround time. And then Greg Hamilton came in. Let's see. Greg Hamilton took about 20 minutes to get back out there. John Kelly began loop 3 at 21:29. Okay. So he was in camp for 2 hours. And so Carl is now leading the race, and Greg headed out before John Kelly. So he must have been suffering. I'll show you a picture that I saw earlier that might help to shed some light on that as well. Jasmine Paris finished loop 2 in 23:38, and Thomas Dunkerbeck in 23:35. And we also had a Paul Giblin tap out. Here's a quote from Laz: "No person with a brain that functions right doesn't want to quit." We had a Thomas Dunkerbeck starting in 23:53 and Jasmine in 23:52. So that's, if you count them up, 5 people. And we had a quit from Mergen Geets at Garden Spot 3 hours ago from loop 2. We have a Guillaume Calmette drop. 12 runners remain as of 9 hours ago. And Guillaume, by the way, had to drop when the wind blew away one of the book pages out of his pack. You can't finish the loop without all your pages. You're going to get disqualified. You can't continue on. And we had Tomo. So remember that 26:40 is the cutoff to continue onto loop 3 if you're going after a fun run finish. So Tomo came in 26:15. So he had 24.5 minutes to get back out there. And as you'll see here, 26:40 into the race. And the runners who are not on loop 3 are timed out. Tomo, who finished loop 2 within the time limit, couldn't turn it around in time. So he's out. Also, Chris Roberts and Ian Ferris. Oh, here we go. 2 hours ago, John Kelly on top of Rat Jaw. So it looks like it's still super wet out there, fogged in a bit, and looks cold as well. So there's John Kelly at the fire tower, clearly making his way around the loop. I would imagine that this loop is going to be faster again. So as of an hour ago from Keith here, 5 runners remain in the Barkley Marathons, all on loop 3. We've got Jasmine Paris, your only woman, Thomas Dunkerbeck, Greg Hamilton, John Kelly, and Carl Saab. That's where we're at. So we went from 30 runners starting loop 2 to 5 runners starting loop 3. And that's our current update as of right now. I do want to go to our update sheet here, and we can see how we're doing. We're going to refresh this. So it sounds like John might have taken a nap before starting loop 3. If Carl's going well, he should be in the next hour. Yeah, I would say around 30 hours is what I would guess. So that would be quite likely. So here's our spreadsheet here. So you can see that 6 people finished loop 2 under cutoff, and 5 went out. Tomo was timed out. So there you go. You've got, of course, John Kelly and Carl came in together, but John went out in 21:30. Greg was out under 21 hours, and Carl, I think, was under right around 20 hours heading out. So if he does a 10-hour loop, he'll be back at camp, which would be 2 hours slower than his first daytime loop. Interesting to note. So I think Carl's in a pretty good spot right now, but we'll see how the third loop weighs on him. And it looks like we'll have to see when Thomas and Jasmine went out, but they have a chance that they could still be working together. But everyone else, I think, is going to be solo at this point, not really working as a team. Very, very interesting how this is playing out. Oh, I was going to go back up there. Howie Stern, I think, had some more photos to take a peek at. Am I saying that they'll finish loop 3 in 11 hours? I would think it would be under 10 hours for loop 3. Like, it could be between 9 and 10. What happened to Courtney? So we'll get more to that in a minute. I've got some details. And here's some more. Howie Stern here. There's Jasmine Paris coming in, all bundled up. Nonstop rain overnight. Jasmine Paris made the 100-mile cutoff by minutes and is still in the hunt on loop 3. That's what I was going to say. So those other runners, like Thomas and Jasmine, barely have a buffer for the 5-loop cutoff. So they've got to really make up some time on loop 3 if they are going to build up enough buffer. They have to get back out on course by 36 hours. So they're going to have like around 12 hours for this loop, which is definitely possible. So they could gain back some time. They could gain a couple hours back and build that buffer back up for tonight. It's a good sign that they made it around in that rain and the darkness last night. There's some images of Jasmine there. There's Carl. I think that's Greg. There's John and Carl. Okay, so here's John Kelly with that kind of death stare. So he was in one of the bathrooms in camp because it's warm there. So he was probably super cold, trying to get warmed up here. And there is someone getting tapped out, Laz here with his hand over his heart. There's Howie, or oh my God, Harvey Lewis. Sorry, brain dead. And I think Howie had some. There's John Kelly after loop 2. Okay, I love this photo. This photo tells so much. So his crew has basically moved inside of the bathroom because it's heated in there. I would imagine John was very cold and it looks pretty out of it. So I've been here before. So after loop 3 in 2015, I went into the bathroom. I got a hot shower. I got changed. It's a great spot to kind of hang out and get reset. And look at this. You can see that all that rain, heavy rain coming down in front of his light. And it sounds like we also have an update on his Twitter as well, John Kelly's Twitter. So here we go. After a day of ideal and un-Barkley-like conditions, the runners paid their dues with no visibility and pouring rain all night. It definitely took its toll. It's hard to get at your calories when you're wet and cold. Falling behind on eating will make regulating your body temperature difficult. John was shivering and depleted after loop 2. After a wise rest break, he went back out and is still battling the course. A finish is still within reach, but what will the Barkley throw at him next? I guarantee it won't be love and puppies. Thanks for sending John all your good vibes and keep them coming. Iconic photo right there. And here's a picture still in the dark, taking his third bip and heading out bib and heading out like a champ. So I believe this will be a reverse loop. I would imagine so. Some questions about Jasmine. Yes, Jasmine is one of the ones that is still in, and she has to do a 12:21 loop and immediately go back out to stay on 100-mile pace. So if she misses that 36-hour cutoff, she can still get an official fun run by finishing in under 40 hours. So she'll have 4 extra hours. I would say it is. I mean, I don't want to jinx anyone, but I would say with the fact that there's still a lot of daylight to go. Well, I guess there's some daylight to go because it's already 1 o'clock there, so another 5-6 hours. Reasonable chance that we could see a women's fun run finisher this year. We could see up to 5 fun runs. There's 5 people left out on course right now, and there's still a chance, I would say a chance for 3 to go the full distance. The other 2 are going to be fighting cutoffs for 3 loops, which is tough. Really, really tough to do. You don't have really much room for error. And we got a comment here. Those are perhaps the nicest bathrooms at any campground I've ever been to. I would agree. They are pretty incredible, and they've upgraded them lately. Word is first 2 loops were clockwise, next 2 are counterclockwise. So that is the standard way to go for Barkley. I love that. I love the 2 clockwise, 2 counter. It gets you in a nice rhythm. It's really great. And Salenth is calling that the stair of despair right there. Stair of despair. All right. So yeah, that is our current update as of the moment. It was a painful, brutal night out there. It sounds like we can compare how these times go. Let me actually see. I forget when they went out. That would be good information. When did Carl head back out? So Thomas was out in 23:53 and Jasmine in 23:52. That's a great sign. It's daylight. They're working together as a team to hopefully get back around in under 12 hours. And yeah, you can see right there, Jasmine's first loop was 9:14, second was 14:14. Just the fact that they made it around is a good sign. That means they had to navigate in the fog, in the dark, in the cold. And for, I think, both that are virgins, Thomas and Jasmine, both first-timers. So that's a great sign. Greg and Carl were the 2 in 2019 that got the furthest. So they both went out, I believe, on 4 that year. So that is a great sign for them. And, of course, you have John Kelly. So yeah, when did all these guys head out? I think John Kelly began loop 3 at 21:29. Greg was 20:48. Carl was right at 20 hours. So you've got experience up front. You've got 2 guys that have been on loop 4, have fun run finishes in their previous attempt. And you've got John Kelly, who is a finisher of the race. Multiple-time fun run finisher. So we've got, I think, some good excitement and a good chance that these folks are going to at least continue on loop 4, if not loop 5 and beyond. As far as Jasmine and Thomas goes, what a great showing for them as virgin runners, first time here. The fact that they are together, they are going to be able to learn this course in the daylight, in reverse. So that is going to be the challenging part. There are some very tricky sections in reverse. I could think of multiple that look nothing like the clockwise direction. So hopefully they took a peek over their shoulder a few times, looked back where they were coming from, and I wish them all the best. It'll be exciting to see if we can get a couple more fun runs out of these folks today. I can't believe it went from 30 to 5. I mean, this is the Barkley. This is crazy, crazy stuff. This is so typical how it can turn so quickly and your highest of hopes in your dreams can be dashed. There's a reason why we haven't seen very many finishers of this event, and you're seeing it right now. The bathroom aid station is a nice touch. Yep, definitely. Hello from Wisconsin. Thanks for the updates. You bet. Here we go. Katrin says, John is 15 minutes behind his 2017 Loop 3 start time. That year, he was in camp for an hour after lap 2 and took a nap as well. That's a good statistic right there. And I think if the weather holds out, these guys, that could have been their slowest lap, Loop 2, possibly. But we have another night coming. So Carl, these first 3 guys, I think should be pretty safe to get this loop done. I think they're going to have to get it done before dark to continue. So yeah, definitely. So Loop 4 is going to be in the dark. And I think this has been said before, but Loop 4, especially this year, is going to be the absolute crux of this race. If you can get through that, Loop 5 should be relatively smooth sailing. It's supposed to be quite nice tomorrow in the 60s and sunny. So you just got to get through the rest of today and tonight. So it looks like John Kelly was making good time. He was up at the fire tower already. We didn't get an image of, here's John Kelly up at the top of Bradshaw earlier. As you can see right there. Someone said he was in jeans. I don't think those are jeans. I think those are just rain pants. And I think that's Alexis Berg right there to his right, the photographer. Oh, this is what I was going to talk about. I thought it was Courtney's year. I was going to talk more about this. Harvey Lewis, there was some good info on his Instagram. All right, so I'm going to read this off here on his Instagram page. I'll go to full screen here so you can see it. There we go. It was an amazing adventure, even if it didn't end the way I had envisioned. I'm proud of it. It's hard to capture just how tough, crazy this race is, from the vert, navigating in the dark, rain, and fog. It was such a pleasure to run with Kiwi Greg Hamilton from New Zealand. He was a beast. We teamed up with Courtney after Book 1 on Loop 2, which is a great sign because they were with a veteran. Greg was moving much stronger, and we encouraged him to go on after Book 5. Courtney and I then teamed up. We couldn't find Book 7 off Leonard's Butt Slide. I know that book location, and it is one of the most challenging on the course. Conditions really deteriorated in the night with 34-degree rain. Whew. We gave ourselves 30 more minutes, but we're both getting cold. Being able to self-extract is number one. We decided to call it. So that's tough. You can see there that, yeah, like there's no one that's going to come rescue you, and it's very serious out there. Freezing rain, basically right on the verge of becoming snow. I would have preferred it just to switch to snow. That would have probably been a lot better. But yeah, if you're not dressed properly, or if you have to wander around looking for a book, you're no longer pushing in a single direction, either up or down, like with a clear, determined purpose. If you're just circling, you're not working as hard, you're not running, you're just kind of walking around, looking and wandering. Your body heat is not being generated, and it can just plummet very quickly. I've been in this situation before, looking for books, like in the dark, in the rain, in the cold like this, maybe not even quite that cold, where I've had to just take shelter for a while and wait out the storm because I couldn't generate enough body heat, and just getting soaked in the rain. It's a dangerous situation, and you have to be able to get out. And when you get out, it's not like you can just walk a few minutes to the next aid station and be extracted or sit in front of a heater. From the point that they were at on the course, we're talking about a couple hours at minimum to get back to camp, including climbing and descending, and you have to go higher than where they were, back into the cold and fog, just to quit the race and head back on Quitter's Road, which is kind of crazy. But that's just how this race goes. And yes, we got Jasmine as the only woman remaining right now, and she is teamed up with Thomas, and they were They're both first timers, but they are back out there together, which is awesome. Snow would have been better. I would agree. And those could also provide, well, maybe some tracks, but it might just get snowed over again. Any news about Anna and Johanna? They, at some point, were tapped out on Loop 2. They didn't finish Loop 2 on time. So thankfully, Harvey and Courtney are all right, and everyone else is so far. Do the books move between loops? No, they should stay in the same spot. There have been instances where people put them back in a little bit of the wrong spot, and that affects other people that come behind them. Here's another point. Doing snowless followed by snowy loops on runs, everything looks so different. Absolutely. That would be a challenge in its own right. Jasmine Paris won the Montane Spine Race in the middle of winter. Lots of experience in cold rain. I think this is a great point. There is a question what if Courtney and Harvey had more layers? If they had, really bundled up for some insane level of weather, huge ski jackets, God knows what. There were people that made this loop. So it's something to think about. Did you have enough gear? I see Harvey over here. He finished the race and his legs are exposed. Like, I can't imagine that that's probably going to be something he's going to look at for the future. And it's something that you kind of have to learn sometimes, trial by fire. But I definitely would have had, if I knew it was going to rain for 12 hours and it was going to be in the mid to low 30s at the high points, I'd be wearing tights and rain pants at minimum, and I would have multiple big jackets. I would have intense, like, waterproof ski gloves, the whole 9 yards. Like, the last thing you want to do is quit for some preventable reason. And I'm not by any means trying to critique their run or their choice in gear, because I've been out there before, and even with great gear, it can become dicey. And you got to do what you got to do for yourself to get out of there alive, most definitely. If John can pull off a finish, do you think it puts him ahead of Jared Campbell as the Barkley GOAT? No. I mean, Jared has 3 finishes, so I would say Jared would continue to be the GOAT in my book. But I would say John is incredible, and what he's doing out here is amazing. What else? What other questions do we have here? Saw the comments on the picture of John Kelly at the top of Ratjaw. John Kelly, yes, I am wearing jeans. Oh, is he really? Maybe he is wearing jeans. Let's take a look at this again. Oh, it's probably just a joke. I mean, they're definitely not jeans. Yes, I am wearing jeans. John Kelly's Twitter has been pretty awesome. The first 2 loops are good fun, but I guess it's about time to get this race started. Keith-Dunn, is there any of my mom's Pop-Tart cake left? John Kelly at the top of Ratjaw. Cool. Yeah, Maggie is running his Twitter account. Maggie Gooderl. Magatron Runs on Twitter is the one. Yeah, I think this is a good way to sum it up here. John and Jared are both humble, intelligent, hardworking, conscious people. They seem like incredibly great dads. Let's let them both be GOATs. Looking for a Levi sponsorship. Awesome. Well, let's see if Keith's got anything more. I can't stay on super long right now, so I am going to... This is going to be a shorter update, but I think we covered everything. But I will hopefully do one if we get Carl in and maybe John, and just give a little bit of an update. So yeah, that's where we're at. We got 5 runners remaining. Stay tuned. Thanks for checking this out, guys. Be sure to subscribe and put your notifications on for the next update. Until then, we'll see ya. Have a great day.